For more than a year, we've seen the fallout from how Michigan State and USA Gymnastics handled the Larry Nassar investigation.
Through it all, his victims continue to ask how and why he got away with his abuse. Well, tonight, Lindsay McCombel is taking a deeper look at the campus culture and how it failed hundreds of athletes.
Well, Brian and Marley, failure is a word that many have used when describing this case. MSU's leaders admitted to failing the survivors. The survivors say coaches and trainers failed to report Nassar years ago. It's all part of a bigger cultural issue surrounding sexual assault, especially on college campuses. And I've spent the last few weeks examining where we go from here.
I would say it's shocking to see the degree of institutional collapse, and I don't say those words lightly.
Joanne Gerstner is an award-winning sports journalist. Her work's been featured by the New York Times, ESPN, and U.S. Olympic Committee.
A lot of people had to allegedly do things not the right way for us to get to where we were.
She currently teaches at Michigan State as the sports journalist in residence. Despite her pride in the university, she's not shying away from recognizing changes must come from this.
When you hear woman after woman,
I've told counselors your name in hopes that they would report you.
Girl after girl in that court say, I told somebody.
The investigation done by MSU was brief and sloppy, and it left me feeling disposable and worthless.
And nobody listened. You just want to cry.
I told Tim about it, and he said, oh no, that couldn't have happened. I've known Larry for years.
You want to cry for them, because that's not right.
To Kathy Klages, I am so disgusted by you. Women who came up to you in 1997 and you told them that they would have consequences for speaking out about Larry.
They tell you, say something, we'll help you. Maybe not.
Larry Nassar did not arise in isolation. Rather, we saw the worst sexual assault scandal in history unfold because a predator was left in power for decades. Despite warning signs, despite red flags, despite direct reports of assault.
Nassar's victims, now calling themselves an army of survivors, have been the loudest about questioning how we got here. Gerstner says everyone must be willing to examine the culture we're surrounded by, especially when it comes to prioritizing successful athletic programs at big universities.
It's for the glory of sports. It's athletics. It's the worship. It's the money. But this has happened in other places, the Catholic Church. We've had the Boy Scouts. I think all of us need to take a step back and truly say, yeah, this can happen anywhere. Are we watching our house? And we were not watching the house here at Michigan State.
We've seen it at Penn State University. We've seen it at Baylor University. And now we're seeing the alleged mishandling of sexual violence at Michigan State University, a trend Gerstner fears could continue.
As a journalist, I know this is happening again. This is going to happen somewhere else again. It just will. But as an optimist, I hope we can learn something from this as a world and try to stop this before it ever happens again.
And this is just the beginning of my examination of the campus culture. Our investigation continues tomorrow night at 11. That's when you'll hear my interview with a former athletic director for MSU. And she is very blunt about how she thinks the university handles all Title IX investigations. Marley.
Looking forward to that report, Lindsay. Thank you. Larry Nassar will be sentenced on sexual abuse charges in Eaton County tomorrow. He's already been sentenced to at least 100 years in prison in other cases. That number will climb higher tomorrow. We'll have live coverage on woodtv.com.